do this to the family.
I want to see the boy. You're too late.
We are talking Gates of Darkness. This one is directed by Don E. Fauntleroy. And listen to this cast, who this stars. Tobin Bell, John Savage, Adrienne Barbeau, Mary Mauser, who you may know from the Netflix's Cobra Kai, Lesley-Anne Down. So an absolutely fantastic cast there. What is the story? Well, it focuses on this kind of the family that attend this very kind of religious kind of town, which has this school. It's a Catholic school, and we have this family which is comprised of the woman, the mother, who is remarried after the kind of her original husband has died, with this new guy who's got his kind of daughter, and then we have these two brother and sister from the first marriage. So we have this kind of family, all of whom attend this particular kind of this church, just kind of church school type place. And one of the kind of the children, this kind of teenage boy who's kind of like a goth emo type kid, seems to be acting a little weird. He may well be kind of under the influence of some type of otherworldly kind of forces. What'll happen? You'll have to watch the movie and find out. So let's discuss Gates of Darkness. So this in some ways is a kind of standard possession movie, kind of / exorcism movie, with Tobin Bell's Monsignor as our kind of main kind of hero, if you like, the kind of the exorcist, so to speak. But it's an odd film because it's very messy, and then the plot becomes very and kind of unclear about what's actually kind of going on. But before we get into that, let's talk about what I think does work in this movie. So I think the first thing for me is the cast. The cast here is very, very impressive, considering this is obviously a lower budget film, and you'd probably expect only some cameo walk on parts for some of these kind of characters. And although they're not the leads, although Mary Mauser is pretty much the female lead here, but Tobin Bell has a good amount of screen time. Lesley-Anne Down has a good amount of screen time. So John Savage, yeah, they're all there, more than I thought they were going to be honest with you. So it is nice to see this kind of collection of well-established and well-loved kind of genre movie actors here, all appearing on the screen together. It's a fun little kind of nod to the kind of the genre films that they've been in the past. And the casting, yeah, very, very good. As I have to say, I should probably expect the acting wasn't too bad. I do think there's some casting issues with some of the kind of the lesser known characters, but generally speaking, I will say I think the acting here was all pretty good, to be fair. And I thought Tobin Bell especially is the kind of the Monsignor, who is this strict kind of obviously very kind of pious guy, but also I would say is somewhat relatable at this kind of the same time. I thought he did a pretty good job here. But that's it. That is all where I'm going with the praise of this movie, because let me tell you, this film was a mess. Okay. So the narrative of this movie is so convoluted and hard to follow at what's actually kind of going on. I'm watching this film and thinking, I think an hour into this film and I don't know what it's about. We follow this family and it isn't really apparent what's kind of going on. And this is going to be slightly spoilery, but so our character of I think it's Stephen, who is like the kind of the emo kid. He's the one that's kind of being affected, but he's what's affecting him. We don't really ever know. The movie has these constant kind of flashbacks through the film that's meant to, I think, be like showing you how kind of messed up he is because he's seeing these visions, but it ends up being really confusing. There's a really weird relationship with his grandparents, played by John Savage and Adrienne Barbeau, who have some truly bizarre roles, and we don't quite know what's going on with them. Again, I don't want to spoil it for you, but suffice to say, watch those two characters, and you're thinking, what the hell is going on here? It's unbelievable how messy the plot is in this film, without kind of out and out kind of spoiling it for you. When we get to the kind of the finale, which is ultimately the kind of the exorcism and stuff, it almost seems like the demonic force is being somewhat kind of like justified in what it's doing, is all I'll say. And it doesn't really kind of make sense. I was expecting, I was just going to be like, he's possessed by like an angel or something. No, it's just, you know, it's almost like highlighting some injustices from somewhere else. It's just like, it's such a mess of a movie. There's also some poor casting here. We have this this other priest who is a kind of he's a major player in the actual plot, but he doesn't get a huge amount of screen time. And they've cast like Mr. Hunky McHunkson as this kind of like, as this priest. It's like, come on, you know, he looks like a male model kind of strutting around with his kind of dog collar, and it's like, come on, you know, let's kind of cast appropriately here. The kind of the relationships of everyone are, you know, aren't particularly kind of strong. I wasn't quite sure about the kind of the family dynamic, about what is actually kind of going on here, who the actual people are, and what their kind of relationship with each other. It's so poorly kind of set up, this film. The main issue is going to be the writing. The writing and direction here are so poor that it's just an absolute convoluted mess. And then we've got to talk about the special effects. The laughable green screen and poor CGI special effects. They are bad. They are bad. So it's a terrible film, albeit it's one with a pretty good cast. So what do I score this? I honestly don't think just having good casting warrants kind of a high score, to be honest with you. I'll give it a 3 out of 10, and I feel like I am being generous with that. It's a 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.